Hello and welcome to this webinar from Tapio. I'd like to welcome you, and I'm very glad that you're watching and listening to us. We're the Tapio team, so my colleague Jan and I are here to present some insights from our webinar we held in German last time. So Jan, it would be great if you could introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, my name is Jan. I'm working for Tapio since the beginning, and I'm working in the field of product management, like more especially in terms of for service board and other topics around about like tools and materials.
Yeah, great. So my name is Julia. I'm also working in the team for the product management. From a background, I come from a family-owned carpentry. So this is why I'd like to share some insights about digitization and how we manage digitization in this carpentry. So, as said previously, we held this webinar in German, and we had some really cool guests there last time. So we had Alexander Linder from HOMAG and two carpenters, Thomas Bauer and Manuel Schmidt, who joined us last time. And today, Jan and I are going to present their part to you in English. So, our today's topic is digital workshop, and we're speaking about entry-level solutions for digital cutting. So today we won't present you like this is how you transform your whole workshop, but rather a small piece of where you can start, for example, with the topic of digital cutting, especially as an entry-level solution. This webinar is targeted at carpenters and joiners, and of course, everyone who's interested in the wood industry is also warmly welcome to this webinar. So to start with, Jan, it would be great if you could explain some parts about Tapio and what we thought at the beginning.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So what you see here in that slide is basically what we did in the beginning of Tapio. So, I mean, to digitalize a whole industry is not like you're doing it within 2 weeks. So we thought like, what will be the big questions when it comes up to digitalize the wood industry, and not like that we are doing the digitalization. So we're doing it together with all the stakeholders in the wood industry. That means like to digitalize the industry together with the Tapio partners, which are like machine, tools, or material manufacturers, as well as the customers. So we had a lot of questions on our mind, but what you see here are like basically the 5 big ones where we really tried, and I think we also found the answers on those questions. So one big question was like, what does it basically mean to digitalize the wood industry? So what can be digitalized? That was one big question which we had on our mind. Another big question was the whole new topics like Internet of Things, software as a service, and all the whole, the whole process behind digital sales, because those topics are really new to the market, to the wood industry. And also we thought like how we could use IoT and software as a service, for example, to make digitalization in the wood industry. Another big part which every carpenter, joiner, or customer had on his mind was how we can use machine communication to different applications, how we could use it, how we what's the benefit out of it. So that was one big question, how we can solve that and combine it during the whole process of digitalization. Another part, which is like the whole topic about data protection, IT security. So who's the owner of the data? What happens to my data? Who can use the data? Is my data secure in Tapio? So those were all the questions where we tried to find answers, and where we found answers, and where we made nice ground rules in the whole ecosystem of Tapio. In terms of Tapio, the last question was like, what does it mean, the digital collaboration between customers and partners, between Tapio partners and the customer? How is that digital collaboration a real benefit in terms of digitalization for the wood industry? So what's really interesting as well, or what our main thought was in the beginning, is like, every carpenter or joiner, when he looks into the shop floor on the, he really sees a colorful production. Okay, he has like machines from different manufacturers. He has different manufacturers for his tools and different suppliers for his materials. And he also has like different contacts for his service when he needs service for tools, materials, or machinery. So this is a really colorful a shop floor which every customer has. And our aim was it to have the digital twin of that workshop combined in, I would say, different applications and technology solutions based on an ecosystem. So an ecosystem, that's what we believe in, is the right approach. Within an ecosystem, it's possible that the Tapio partners can work together, create new solutions, machines can talk to other machines, and you have really a data transfer within the whole ecosystem. That means like we can, I would say we can take the colorful shop floor of every customer and make the digital twin out of it so that he really sees his colorful shop floor also in a digital way. And that's why the ecosystem is here the right approach also to make digitalization for the wood industry with all the stakeholders within the industry. So with customers and with the Tapio partners.
Yeah, when you speak about Tapio partners, you also brought some information on who's on board right now.
Yeah, so I mean, 3 years ago we started with like 0 business partners, okay, and after 3 years we have more than 41 business partners right now, and you see it here quite well. Those partners are coming from different, I would say, from different sources. Okay, you have machine manufacturers like HOMAG, Vanderkorp, or Hiesman. You have like tool manufacturers, which is like Leuco, AKE, Agefa, or Gold, but also edge bendings like Rehau, MKT, stuff like that. So you have really like the whole ecosystem is full of those business partners, Tapio partners, which are also like the players besides the customer in the wood industry. And that's what we really tried to achieve, to get all those companies together in the ecosystem and make digitalization together with them for the customers.
Yeah, and it's especially nice to see that today we're holding this webinar together with HOMAG as one partner of the ecosystem. So Jan, you do see many workshops of our customers, and we know about the pain points that exist regarding the cutting in practice in the workshop. Maybe you can explain something or some more insights about that.
Yeah. So when it comes up to cutting, it's always a big pain that there's like a lot of material waste. That is something which really hurts because it's money, it's cash, and that's something the customer wants to avoid. Okay. Another big topic is here also to find and combine the right parts. I just cut it after the cutting process. So that's also a big waste of time, which is also like in terms of when it comes up to money, it's also costs. And a third big point is really when you make manual cutting optimization and you get interrupted, you have no idea after the interruption where the hell did I stop. So these are like only 3 pain points customers told us when it comes up to manual cutting. And that's also like a problem which has not only small companies, it's really small, medium, and large scale productions with, I would say, older machines and new machines. So that means like you got older machines also with no directly connectivity to Tapio. But there it would be also nice to have a great solution to get the cutting in a digital way.
Yeah, so let's look at the solution that HOMAG presented to us. Jan, we do have 3 steps. So what's the first step then?
Yeah, so HOMAG is a big player in the wood industry when it comes up to machinery. They also tried to create a digital solution when it comes up to digital cutting. And also like a solution which is not available for those customers who have like the newest saw and the newest technology on their saw, on the panel saw, for example. So they really thought also about the customers which have like manual circular saws where there is no direct connectivity available to Tapio. So HOMAG invented that solution here, which we see in 3 steps. So this is step number 1 when it comes up to the whole process of digital cutting. So first of all, like every carpenter and joiner is doing, he's opened up his CAD program and is creating in a virtual way his furniture he would like to produce later on in the process. And then he created that cutting list and is exporting that cutting list from his CAD program into IntelliDivide. Okay, he can export, for example, a CVS data or Excel data into the program by HOMAG, which is called IntelliDivide Cutting. IntelliDivide Cutting is a cloud-based digital solution where you can make different alternatives for cutting optimization. For example, optimize the waste, optimize the cutting time, and some more alternatives where you can cloud-based see the results, and then you pick up the best alternative and result and take those cutting plans into the next digital solution, which is called Production Assist Cutting. In this Production Assist Cutting, you see the cutting plans you already selected in IntelliDivide Cutting. And then this Production Assist can also talk to a label printer, okay, via the new product, which is called HOMAG Cube. So that means, you see it in the last picture here, you have the combination with Production Assist Cutting, HOMAG Cube, and a label printer. So you can cut on a manual saw the material like you did it on the cutting plans with IntelliDivide Cutting. And then with a part you finished with cutting, you can stick on the specific label on that part. That label has information on it like name of the customer, order number, specific information regarding edge bands, and so on and so on. So you really digitalize your whole cutting process with easy digital solution by HOMAG, which is a combination of IntelliDivide Cutting, where you do the optimization, then with the Production Assist Cutting, in combination with the HOMAG Cube and a label printer. So you can, first of all, you know how to cut the material on the Production Assist Cutting. And second of all, the Production Assist Cutting is sending the right information to the label printer. Label printer prints out the label, you can stick it to the part, and you're good to go. You find and you can combine the parts after that cutting process easily by the labels, and you have like less waste, or you cut it like much more faster, or you just like selected another alternative in IntelliDivide Cutting.
Yeah, nice overview.
Yeah, you see it here also once again, what I just told you regarding the cube. So the cube, the HOMAG Cube, is basically a hardware. You buy it at HOMAG, and then this hardware is like already installed, pre-installed for every customer. So it's just like plug and play. You just need a Tapio account, and it really depends which configuration you want to have on that cube. So for example, for digital cutting, the cube is already pre-configured with the digital solutions cutting, IntelliDivide Cutting and Production Assist Cutting. So you see it here, you have the Production Assist Cutting, sending over the cube the information to the label printer, and you see on the tablet or on a mobile device the right cutting plan, how to cut the material on a manual saw. So you don't necessarily need a new panel saw here. So it's really also good to go with the manual saw.
Right, great. So let's have a look into practice and how this looks like in the workshop. And therefore we had Thomas on the left-hand side and Manuel, who had been guests at our webinar, and both are trained as master carpenters. And they know each other since days of kindergarten, which is a really nice story. So they really harmonize with each other. And after finishing their masterclass in carpentry, they decided to found an own company. And they started off like, we know some very successful examples that started in the garage. So they had a small barn where they started, but unfortunately they did not have enough space. So right now they do have a workshop of 500 square meters. And in this workshop, they have this bit of old circular saw that you see in the back of this picture, which is an Italian manufacturer. And now you see this little, let's call it a digital wonder, the HOMAG that's in the middle of this picture, that now connects this rather old saw with new technology. So how does this work in practice? So here we see Manuel in his office. He has done some CAD programming, so he created the furniture and the parts, and then he exported the parts. And here you see on the right-hand side the Excel file that he created with a parts list, and then Manuel can import this specific project that he here has right here into IntelliDivide. And what we also know or learn from what Jan just presented was that you can also use other CAD software to import your data onto IntelliDivide. You can also insert the data manually. So this is also what Manuel does from time to time when he is not creating the furniture on a CAD, but then manually entering the parts list into IntelliDivide. And it just, as Manuel reports, it just takes a few clicks to import these information and data onto IntelliDivide. And with this, the next step would be to open up Production Assist. And here you see we are back in the workshop again. And here you get the cutting plan that you see, and then the special part that you have right here. So again, you have here some quite important information. Of course, you know the customer number, the part number, the measures, and how to cut it, and also how the grain is on this specific part. With this information seen, it's quite easy. Here you also see the connection between the rather old and small machine that they have in the workshop, and here combined with the HOMAG, they built a little piece around this HOMAG by their own. So it's quite nice to see how individually this fits into each and every workshop. So with this, Thomas is now the man on the saw, cutting the first piece. So he selected the piece that he's cutting, and on the right-hand picture, you see already the label that's printed automatically that comes out. And here we see it in detail. This is the piece that Thomas is just cutting, and he easily sticks this label onto the part that he printed. With this, he can easily identify which type of part he just cut and for which project it is. And what Thomas also stressed is that he's really annoyed by being interrupted in this process steps, for example, by the mobile phone or whatever, and you got stuck into this little step where you've been, and without having this information on the HOMAG and Production Assist, he really states that it was annoying when thinking about, okay, where did I stop? Where do I have my manual plan, where I previously drew some little sketches, how to cut this specific piece. So he's really glad that he can now work in a flow state. So he knows that all the information is on his screen. He just has to touch on it and focus on production and focus on the quality of his cutting rather than on operational tasks. Here we do have a label. Of course, it's right now in German, but I walk you through it. So at the top of the label, you can have the project name or the customer's name, whatever. The next piece of information shows the edges. So on which edge you need to glue an edge on. Then here you see the name of the part that you have, and of course also the measures of the part. Here they displayed the material they used, and of course also the information on the grain is displayed at this label. So you simply confirm it on the screen, the label is printed, and then you take the label and stick it on the wood. So I think this is an easy way to transfer your maybe old machines into a new digital era with using this HOMAG cube. And I'm really glad that we had Thomas and Manuel on our webinar last time, because they really said like, okay, if we would have had enough space in our workshop in our barn, we maybe would have invested into a new saw. But with this, we really transferred a working saw into something valuable to us, where we can really work in a flow state and be highly efficient. So in order to bring this in the context of the ecosystem, Jan, it would be cool to hear which role Tapio display in this setting.
Yeah. First of all, I really think it's a great example how also HOMAG acts in the ecosystem, because the HOMAG cube in combination with those digital solutions can also be used not only for HOMAG saws. So you can use it for every manual saw, which is a really great example for an ecosystem approach as well. In terms of Tapio, you see here we have like one Tapio account for every user or one Tapio account for a company. And there you manage in my Tapio everything which comes up to digitalization. So in this part as well, Tapio, the role of Tapio is pretty easy. You have like, as those two guys, they have like one company account, and they can manage the cube, they can manage the licenses like production assist and IntelliDivide cutting. They can manage the users in their company, so who's able to use production assist and who's using IntelliDivide cutting. For example, only one person should use IntelliDivide cutting, so you easily manage that in your administration portal in My Tapio. And you also manage like all your applications. So besides, for example, those two HOMAG applications and the HOMAG cube, you also maybe would have service board and machine board, and all those applications you just manage in one administration portal. So in the beginning, I told you everything about the colorful shop floor, and that when it comes up to a digital way, you see it here in My Tapio, that you manage your colorful shop floor and the digital solution together just in one administration portal.
Yeah, great to know. I think it's more or less a prerequisite in order to enter or to start some digital products at the workshop.
Yeah.
Great. So, Jan, thank you for the insights. We hope that we presented some inspirational information from the workshop for digital cutting at the entry level. And we hope that it might be some first steps for you and your business. So thanks for listening and watching, and hope to see you next time. Take care and bye.
Bye-bye.